Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day number 5 of the 5-day video series challenge. These are the 4 tools that you need to start launching your chiropractic practice in just 1 week. We've spent this series so far working on strategies that you need to learn and that you need to implement if you want to start launching and making that next big jump in your practice. And our last day of the series here, I'm going to pull it all together for you. All right, thanks for joining me for this 5-day video series. I am Dr. Scott Dorrity, the chiropractic growth coach. Now, as a chiropractor, I use these strategies and systems, and the same strategies and systems that I now use with my coaching clients to grow my own practices, to grow my business to over 7 practices, to 7 practices. We're bringing in over $6.5 million worth of revenue annually. That's when I sold them and I retired from practice, and now growing chiropractic practices is all I do. Now, if you haven't registered to get access to the replays of the video challenge and also to get the worksheets and the downloads, you definitely need to do that. It's completely free, so head on over to the link in the comments right after this video is over and make sure that you register. Then you can download the worksheets for days 1 through 4 and you can get all caught up. Thanks for joining me today for the live version of day number 5 of this challenge. If you're a new viewer, please let me know what state you're from. Whether you're watching live or if you're in the replay. If you're watching on the replay, please put in a hashtag replay for me so I know that. I know I've been watching my stats, and I know we've been getting a lot of late in the afternoon viewers. So I know some of you are new, and luckily, as I'm looking at my stats, you're watching almost the whole show, which is pretty cool. So let me know what state you're from. And also, I would love to hear what made you decide to go into chiropractic. So again, if you're a new viewer and you haven't shared that with me, please let me know why you decided to go into chiropractic. I know just down the road now Palmer Homecoming is going on. A lot of chiropractors out there who have been in practice many years have many reasons for getting into chiropractic, and I would love to hear yours. Mine is not one of those great chiropractic stories, actually, but it tells you a lot about why I'm here and why I do what I do. I was actually a math major in college. You know many chiropractors who are a math major originally? My intent was to go on to get my MBA after college. I had this math major, economics minor. I was planning to go to business school. And then I just fell in love originally with physical therapy. At that point, I wanted to help people walk, people with spinal cord injuries. I had watched the program, and it was just something I really wanted to do. So I kind of got into physical therapy school. And then it was just 6 months before I graduated from college that I spoke to a chiropractor. He kind of told me the difference, told me how much I get to work with a spinal cord that actually works as opposed to one that's been severed. Made sense to me. Told me I'd be a doctor instead of a physical therapist. Made sense to me. I ended up at chiropractic school having never been adjusted. Went through my entire chiropractic career really not understanding chiropractic the way I do now. And it took me getting out in practice and seeing some really cool things as an associate for me to realize the power of chiropractic. But once I got turned on, there was no stopping me. I opened up my own practice, had some great success, and then because I was so business-minded, I ended up buying out a second practice and kind of going from there until I had 7 practices. So that's my story, how I got into chiropractic. Once those sold those off, I started consulting kind of on a whim. And now here I am 8 years later, traveling all over the country, helping hundreds of chiropractors grow their practices. So that's my story. I would love to hear yours. As I drink out of my, that's right, my new Avengers mug, goes along with the motif behind me. This is showing success from my Send Dr. Scott Free Stuff campaign. A client, Ron, thank you very much for sending this out, by the way. I just got it yesterday, Ron. I opened it up. I was so excited about it. I gave it a quick rinse out and used it this morning. So, Ron, thank you for sending that out. Really appreciate it. Love the mug. But yes, the Send Dr. Scott Free Stuff campaign. I've gotten several bags of coffee sent to me, new mug, a couple other things on my desk. So it's ongoing. Send Dr. Scott Free Stuff. Anything that has to do with coffee or Avengers or animals in the backyard, send it my way. I'd love to have it. And I'll show it on the show. So you get that. You got that going for you, which is nice. I do miss my mason jar, but that mug is pretty cool. Eric, Braden, and Taryn, thanks for stopping by with me this morning. All right. During this video series challenge, we have focused on 4 major tools or 4 strategies or 4 systems that when implemented correctly are proven to launch your practice to that next level, right? That level you've been looking at, you're like, I really want to get there, but you keep making efforts to get there. These will launch you. Go past all those obstacles and get you up there. So today, I want to tie those in together. And I want to lay out what it looks like when you use them all simultaneously. You can do any one of these strategies, and you will get results from them. But when you do them all simultaneously, there's the compound interest effect, obviously. If you get more referrals and you convert them better, it's not the same as just getting one or the other. Obviously, you don't get just double. You actually get more results from that. Compound interest. We can talk about that on a Friday show sometime. Today is Friday, but you get my point. Goal setting is the first thing we talked about, and also doing checkups on your policies and procedures. That has to come before anything else, to be quite honest with you. That's why it's in my launch prep program. You got to prepare to launch. If you don't have everything in place and you don't have that stable foundation to launch from, then it's really not worth it for you to go out and try to bring in more new patients. I see so many people just struggling to get more and more new patients, thinking that's the answer to the problem, and it never has been. They've been doing it for years. They're churning over new patients, and they don't see any growth, and they think all they need is more new patients. It just doesn't make sense. All it does is create chaos in your practice. Now, trust me, I love creating chaos in our practice, but chaos at a whole new level, not chaos that just keeps you where you're at. There is a difference there. And this chaos will definitely not wow your patients. So before you implement any of the other systems, your goals have to be set, and actionable steps have to be drawn up. You have to have a target. In fact, during the majority of my on-site consultations, we do an exercise where we set goals with the team. And I get them all to set them individually so that when we come together, we realize that we don't have the same target. Here we have a team. Same thing for my children's basketball teams. I focus a lot on them being a team and that together everyone achieves more and that we all have to have the same goal at the end of this practice, at the end of this game. Same thing with your team. If I ask you all what's our goal for office visits per week, and everybody gives me a different number, how can we possibly move in that direction? So having your goals set, and again, another thing I'd say before I leave is if I did nothing else but set that target and just let you all go, you would at least start moving towards that target. Because once you have a target, it's obviously a focus point and something we move towards. And if we did nothing else, we'd be in good shape. So you need to get your goals set. You need your team to know them. And you needed to have a target and then a few steps in place for us to get to that target so people know which direction we're going in. And then the policies and procedures checklist has got to be gone through. Now, if you haven't gotten your worksheets yet, they're found in your course, which is not here in Facebook. It's over in our membership portal. So in each lesson, we have a downloadable. So for the goal setting and the policies and procedures, there's a checklist of things for you to go through to make sure that you know all the things that have to be at least stable at this point to prepare you to launch. There can't be any glaring holes in each of these things. So those are in the download section. And if you're having trouble finding those, which we have had a few people that have had trouble finding those, if you're watching the video in the membership portal, it's going to be right up over here. Up and to the right, there'll be little downloads. Unfortunately, it's not a graphic, it's just words, but it'll say download section. So go get those downloads. Be sure to get them all and make sure you go through them all. Now, once you're there and you've handled the house cleaning, so to speak, and you've gotten very clear on your goals and how you're going to get there, the actionable steps, then it's time to get moving with the rest of these systems. Now, each of the other 3 systems that we've talked about can pretty much be instituted simultaneously. Implementing the bonus system doesn't take much time. It's just to sit down with your team to get that base number. It's crunching a few numbers yourself, but it can be done in a weekend, and then actually implementing it, actually offering it to your staff, and then having your bookkeeper or whoever does your payroll figure out the numbers at the end of every month. Pretty simple process. You just got to decide, A, that you want to do it. Reminds me of another basketball thing. The big thing with me right now is rebounding for my kids. And I tell them the best strategy for rebounding is wanting to rebound. You have to go after the ball. Same thing here. You have to want to do this bonus program. You have to want to see the results that come along with the bonus program. And if you want those results, then you have to want to do the bonus program. Once you want it and you put those things in place, then actually implementing it is key. Offering it to your staff and going from there. And when it comes to the perfect case acceptance, I really want you to focus on those preemptive scripts that we spent a lot of time on Tuesday. Work on those with new patients, the ones that you have now. And that'll do two things for you. It's going to increase your case acceptance, but it's also going to go ahead and start inspiring referrals. In fact, I just got off the phone yesterday with the associate of a client, so I guess that actually makes him a client as well. They're all under the umbrella. And we had been working on his report of findings, his case presentation. And I listened to a few of his a week ago, and what I told him was that his preamps were a little weak, like his entrance was a little weak, if you will. So we worked on the first 30 seconds of his case presentation. And he sent me 3 new report of findings yesterday I listened to, and it was night and day difference. Not just in those first 30 seconds, but what happened all the way throughout. And I asked him, I'm like, how did you feel? As the psychotherapist that I am, like, how did that make you feel? Anyways, he came around, he's like, it was amazing, the difference from the patients being put at ease. He visibly saw patients relax after doing that first 30 seconds, those preemptive strategies that we talked about. And when they were relaxed, every one of them converted to care afterwards. And he was having a significant conversion issue. And this past week, he had 0 conversion issue just by fixing those first 30 seconds. Huge thing. It's going to increase your case acceptance. And again, it's going to start to inspire referrals. You won't see those immediately. The referrals don't happen immediately. Those will happen over a period of time. I shouldn't say that. The whole goal of the referral mastery process is to get what I call same-day referrals, right? Where a new patient comes in, goes through your process, and by the end of the day, they've referred somebody. That is what we're looking for. But in this case, by working on those first 30-second preamps, you're going to see visible relaxation, the patient being much happier and accepting your recommendations a lot better at the end. Now, when it comes to the referrals, what I want you to do in tying this all together is to be sure to take some time and thoroughly evaluate your practice and your office and your staff in terms of comfort and convenience. Let's look at those 2 things first and make any changes that are necessary. Now, if you can't remember everything that we've gone over throughout the series, no worries. It's exactly why I created the mini course. So I want you to look at those comfort and convenience things. Look at the things that we talked about and make sure from a patient's point of view, when they come into the office, they feel comfortable and everything's very convenient for them. But again, we do have that mini course for you to go through and have that little checklist. So you're going to, by having access to that, you have access to replays, you have access to the worksheets long after this live video is done. So go back through, especially on day 4, because those components of referral mastery that I just talked about are so important. Remember, referral patients are the patients that you want to be bringing in. Again, I see it. I'm on Facebook. I see it. Everybody's out there is trying to get these Facebook patients. Everybody's promising you they can get you 30 or 40 of them, and sometimes it works. But those Facebook patients come in cold, and they don't often convert to what we want them to convert to, and they're not the best referrers. By enhancing referrals, if anybody remembers, it was a year ago, so you probably don't remember, but I did a series called The 5 Things You Need to Do Before You Ever Do Any Facebook Marketing, before you spend a dime on Facebook advertising. And one of the big things was to maximize your referrals. Too many of you have low-hanging fruit of referrals readily available to you, and you're just bypassing it to go do these, I guess, somewhat sexy, flawny Facebook advertising things instead of just instead of spending a little bit of effort to get your comfort and your convenience up to speed, where referral patients will be easy for you. So at least maximize your referral patients before you start going looking for cold advertising patients. Because remember, those referral patients come in pre-sold on you. They come in pre-sold on your practice, and they come in pre-sold on your care. Your friend has already said good things about you. So you may be thinking that I gave you a lot of content in such a short amount of time this week. And quite honestly, you'd be right. But trust me, what I've given you is condensed as much as I possibly could to be able to get you launching quickly to that next big level we're talking about, but also to fit it into the time frame that we had this week. I actually have entire courses built around these strategies, courses that have 10 plus hours of training videos in each one of them. It definitely was hard to pick and choose the most important parts of each system or each strategy to give to you so that you could get moving quickly, because that's what I'm looking for. That's how I operate as a coach. I know that there are chiropractic business coaches out there who want to keep you clients for 5 or 10 years. That's not me. My coaching is designed to move you ahead to each next big jump in your practice quickly, because I know it's possible, and I've helped hundreds of chiropractors to do it. Now, I briefly mentioned yesterday about a few of the exciting additions to my coaching program, but I want each of you to know exactly what you get as a coaching client of mine. Because you're here in this challenge, and that tells me that you're serious about doing big things in your practice. You aren't just satisfied with the status quo. You're not satisfied with just enough or with average. You want to launch, right? You want to be extraordinary. So as a new coaching client, a doctor comes on board with me through what we call an onboarding process. I give you a lot of information about what happens monthly, where you can find everything, how to schedule calls with me, the whole 9 yards. I mean, coaching programs only work if the client knows exactly how to access everything and understands clearly how it all works. Now, you're going to get weekly one-on-one coaching calls with me. Each week, we rotate what I call the hot seat calls, where we have one client on the hot seat, and we work together to help them with their issues and their strugglers, whatever they're facing in practice. Now, hot seat calls are a huge perk. Having other doctors who are in the same situation as you are, having the same issues, it's a much bigger deal than most people realize before they actually get on one of those calls. And I tell you, the majority of my clients actually get more benefit from hearing other people on the hot seat calls because it kind of removes them from the situation. So when you're seeing someone else have the same situation you are, same issues, and we're helping to figure those things out, it helps you because you're somewhat objective to that. So it's a little more clear for you. Now, because my coaching is designed to get you moving quickly, we also do what I call weekly celebration calls, where each client shares their victories for the week. Because every, even minor victory, but especially the big ones, should be celebrated. The more you celebrate those victories, the more victories you're going to have. Now, another exciting addition to the coaching program are what I call my audit calls. Each week, my team calls 3 different practices, clients of mine, and they act as a new patient. They record the call, and during that doc's hot seat call, I'll actually evaluate how their staff member handled the call. I'll give directions and strategies for improvement, you name it. It's actually really cool because sometimes patients, they're not as forthright as you would like them to be if they have an issue with those, your staff when they're handling scheduling or they're handling appointments in your practice. You'll typically only hear about it if the patient gets really irate. But even a new patient calling in who senses that they're being rushed or that the person on the phone doesn't really want to be talking to them or dealing with scheduling them, they'll just move on to the next doctor. They won't tell you that there's a problem with their practice. I'll tell you in those audit calls. With all that you get as a coaching client, these regional masterminds are just the icing on the cake. I mentioned them yesterday. So as a new client, part of your onboarding process includes me giving you the schedule and the framework for our regional masterminds. Now, like I said, I mentioned those yesterday, but I mentioned them again here because it's something I am incredibly excited about. We did them years ago and just kind of reinstituting them. Now, as a coaching client, the normal registration fee, which is normally $9.95, that's waived. Yeah, you heard that right. Registration for a mastermind event, which we used to charge $9.95 for, which is actually fairly low on the scale of pricing compared to some of the other masterminds out there, but it's still a good chunk of change, right? And as a coaching client, if you're an active client, you pay $0 to participate in these regional masterminds. And you can come to as many of them as you like throughout the year. We're actually doing one in every region, so you'd probably want to go to the one in your region, but you can actually come anywhere in the country and you go to as many as you'd like. There's no maximum number you can attend. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And coaching clients also get access to every single course that I have available for free. Every single course. You're going to get team development. You're going to get the launch prep. You're going to get referral mastery. You're going to get perfect case acceptance. You're going to get making associates work. You're going to get every one of them. So, for 1 week, and 1 week only, when you sign up as a coaching client, you're going to get everything that I just told you about. And we're giving you your first month's coaching fee discounted by 50%. So that's several thousands of dollars worth of courses. You're going to get the mastermind registration for free. You're going to get weekly one-on-one calls with me, weekly hot seat calls. You're going to get practice audits. You're going to get weekly celebration calls. I almost forgot to mention the private Facebook community. That's for my coaching clients only. So don't stop just at this week. Don't just take what you've learned in this week's worth of sessions and call it good enough. Don't take what you've learned. I hope you make a jump, but don't just sit still once you get there. Your practice has potential that you can't even see right now. You need a coach to see those things. There's a level of success that's available to you that you really can't even comprehend at this moment. I've seen that level of success. I know what's possible for each practice, but that success is there for you, and this is your opportunity to make it happen. But next Friday, 1 week from today, the cart closes on the 50% discount for your first month. So take advantage of that savings. Jump into the program. I promise you, you'll see that you made the best choice you can possibly make for your practice and for your life. So the link to get that special discounted order of 50% off your first month of coaching, it's down in the comments below. And once you get over to the page, just enter in the coupon code, and this is very important. The coupon code is LAUNCH, L-A-U-N-C-H, LAUNCH. So put that coupon code in there, click it, and let's get that practice launching for you. Let's keep making that next big jump, and then that next big jump, and then that next big jump, until you look around and you realize, wow, I had no idea I was capable of all of this. I'm ready to get your practice launched. Are you ready? If you are, all you need to do is click that link down below, and let's get going.